Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, Katsina Federal University abandons campus over insecurity. Appeal Court upholds Alex Oti's election as Abia governor. NCAA lifts suspension on airline over Abuja-bound flight arrival in Asaba. And on the foreign scene, ECOWAS condemns disruption of constitutional order in Guinea-Bissau. Oh, hello there and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. We begin tonight's headline with security. The Chancellor of the Federal University, Dusima, Katsina State, King Danderson Douglas Jaja, has expressed concern over security challenges facing the institution. Speaking during the institution's 7th and 8th joint convocation ceremony on Saturday, he revealed that the university's main campus is located in a volatile area prone to kidnappings and bandits attacks. He said due to these security threats, the university faces constraints in using its main campus facilities, requiring daily transportation of students between campuses under security agency protection. While acknowledging the support and cooperation of various security agencies in the state accompanying the students, he appealed to the federal government and all stakeholders to do more to address these challenges. Recall that in October, bandits abducted 5 female students of the university. Still on security, the KB state government has hailed members of the vigilante service in Kanzana general area for neutralizing a notorious kidnapper, Dogo Oro, who terrorized 2 local government areas of the state. The commendation was contained in a statement on Sunday in Birnin Kebbi by Ahmed Idris, the chief press secretary to the governor. He said Oro had made life difficult for people living in Bunza local government and also Kalgo local government areas. Idris said the government was happy with the report that the criminal was eliminated by some members of the vigilante service at Tunga village in Tilly ward of Bunza local government area. According to Idris, the recent successes recorded against criminal elements may not be unconnected with the holistic approach of security agencies to make the state safer for all. He said that Governor Nasir Idris had pledged to render more support to all security agencies, including the vigilante service, working to secure the state. And now joining us to give an update on the situation is the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Ahmed Idris. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour. Now, I would like for you to explain to us, perhaps in more details, what this elimination of Oro means to the people of the state.
Good evening, gentlemen, my friends or my colleagues. Actually, the success of the killing of Dogo in Bunza and Kalgo is attributed to the success of the commitment of the present administration. I could remember vividly when we came on board, he now declared that security and infrastructure will be his major priority. He will make sure that the governor he has commitment, most especially southern part of the state, where the state share border between Niger and Zamfara. And if you look at it, this first security meeting when he had, he cleared all the debt he inherited. The security, the allowance, he made sure that he cleared all the allowance and he purchased APC and other equipment for both army, vigilante, police, and other security agencies. And in doing that, he now swung into action. The governor himself also visited some villages where the bandit attacked the villages. And like what happened last 2 weeks or last 3 weeks, I was in Zuru. Zuru, that is the southern part of the state, where the bandit, at least almost about 13 villages that have been displaced have been returned back their home. We visited the border between Niger and Kebbi and between Kebbi and Zamfara. We discovered that over 13 villages have now returned back to their home. After visiting the scene, all the market, the market, the Kowasagu, now those that are the traders, the business, the farmers, everybody, they have now returned back to their normal businesses. Last week, the vigilante, in collaboration with the other security agencies, they now swim into action. That was the leader of the kidnappers, that is Dogo Oro. That was how they succeeded. And all has been attributed to the present administration commitment to ensure that he protect life and property of his people.
All right, Mr.
And in doing that,
yes,
both the traditional rulers, he involved the traditional rulers,
yes,
the
stakeholders,
stakeholders,
security collaboration,
the villagers,
the input of the vigilantes. I don't know if you can hear me clearly. What would you say the state would do in terms of ensuring that similar like minds like Dogo Oro, who has been terrorizing Kebbi State, what do you think the state is doing to ensure that his like minds either find their way out of the state or ensure that security agencies, catch up with them? Would we be seeing something like, say, regional security outfits that we see in the southwest, for example, Amotekun, springing up in places like, say, the northwest?
Yeah. Last month, the Kebbi State governor empowered all the vigilantes in the state. He employed them, at least he has approved some allowances for them. And he shared them into the various areas where we normally experience the security challenges. And indeed, he established a base in some of their points, some of their attacking places. They now establish military base in those areas in order to protect the life and property of the people of the state. And the state government was completely, in fact, as at now, as I'm talking to you, all the security agencies now, we have joint patrol team in those areas, including vigilante, police, MOPO officers, and the military. He purchased a vehicle for them. And if you look at it, now the Kebbi we are now living in peace. In Kongo and Buza, where they killed their leaders, if you go to that place, you just returned 2 days ago from those areas. People are now free, moving in the night. Everybody is moving freely. And from 1 kilometer to 2 kilometers, if you move, you see the security agents there. Anywhere you move into, you will make sure that the security people are there in order to check either you are a foreigner. And for him to succeed, that's why he involved the traditional institution. All the village district head, he makes sure that anybody who has information, like the success they recorded in southern part of it was as a result of the informant. They engaged some people. It was the informant that now learned the secret that they are in so-so place, they are in so-so place. And that was how they ambushed them. They killed a lot of them. Now, some of them now, the Kebbi is free. Some are moving now down to Zamfara back again. Some are also going back to Niger. And that's why you see Niger is now facing the challenges. Because the effort the present administration put on ground, none of them can now smile or near Kebbi State so far. Okay. Because all the bases, all the base area where the military is supposed to, they established military base and security base in those areas. Okay. Like in Yauri, if you are coming, Yauri is also another area where the bandits always attack. But if you go to Yaoundé now, Yaoundé initially border with Niger and Imbusa, that is part of Niger State. Right. If you go there now, you see all the military vehicles, how people, the security people are alert, They stand firmly to make sure that they fight the criminal and to ensure that they fish out all the criminal kidnappers. And now, to be frank,
to get more updates as to the situation there in Kebbi State. However, Ahmed Idris, thank you very much, Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Kebbi State, for your input on the news hour tonight. Now, moving further, I understand we now have Abdullahi Yamadi, Trust Television correspondent in Katsina State, to give us updates on the situation at the Federal University Dutema. Good evening, Yamadi. Welcome to the news hour tonight. Perhaps you should give us an understanding of the feeling of some of these students who have now, unfortunately, left the permanent site of their university and have to go elsewhere due to the security situation currently around the areas and, of course, within the campus. Hello, Yamadi. Can you hear me? Good evening.
Hello, good evening, and thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed, it's Sagir. So, Yamadi, I was asking if you could give us sort of a feel of what the students are feeling like with regards to, having to leave the permanent site of their university due to the insecurity situations in Katsina.
Well, it's not that they are living elsewhere or that their studies are being disrupted.
Your account is...
Hello? Okay, then we will connect with Yamadi much later. However, suspected armed robbers in Osun State who snatched a Toyota Camry car said they carried out the operation with fake firearms. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Ishaq Mohammed, who disclosed this, said such robbers take advantage of darkness to operate. Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbade has more on the story.
Along the Ife-Ibadan Expressway, 4 suspected armed robbers snatched a black Toyota Camry car from the owner. Under the cover of the night, the suspects pointed toy guns at their victims and dispossessed them of the car and other valuable items.
That collects Toyota Camry. They cut and fabricate a wood that looks like a gun. So in the night, when they put it at their victim, they will dispossess him of his, not knowing that it's just a toy that they use.
I joined my gang members for the robbery operation around the Ife-Ilesha area. There, the police arrested us. Also, a suspected burglar, Oladele Damilola, was apprehended by the police for burgling a shop at Agombelewo area in Osogbo.
I went to burgle shop by using passing through the ceiling to enter and pack some foodstuff and some kitchen equipment, and also some gas cylinder and generator.
The Commissioner of Police in the state, Ishaq Mohammed, called on residents to assist police with useful information to enable them tackle crime effectively.
I would like to tell the people of Osun State that the new sheriff is in town and all the criminals should leave because we are going after them. We will leave no stone unturned to ensure that there is peace in Osun State and people should go about their lawful business. I would like to urge the general public that when they see something, they should say something.
The CP said the suspects will be charged to court after investigation have been concluded. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Also, barely 4 days after the Ogun State Police Command claimed to have arrested 3 armed robbers involved in robbery operation and raping of students of the Gateway Polytechnic, Sakpade, the students have been attacked again, with one of them paying the supreme price, unfortunately. In the robbery incident, 9 other students also sustained gunshot injuries. The latest attacks is coming barely a week after students of the institution and indigents protested the robbery and rape of female students of the Polytechnic by the hoodlums. It was gathered that students residing at off-campus hostels located in Ode, Ikpara and Isara, all adjoining communities to Sakpade, were mostly victims of the robbery onslaught. Following the students' protest last Tuesday, the management shut the institution for 3 days to restore normalcy. However, the suspected robbers returned to the troubled communities in the early hours of Saturday and attacked students. The attack took place in the Larufi area of Ode. Some of the viral videos of the attack on Instagram showed shattered doors, broken windows, and walls riddled with bullets. Although the police are yet to release a statement on the incident, 2 lecturers, however, confirmed the attack. I understand we now have Abdullahi Yamadi, Trust Television correspondent in Katsina State, back online. Hello, Yamadi. Can you hear me now?
Hello, Sajio. Good evening.
Yes, good evening indeed. You were saying something around the incident in Katsina and how the students' education has not been interrupted based on the situation at the main campus.
Well, these issues were raised this evening when the institution was holding its 7th and 8th convocation ceremony at Dusama, where the Chancellor, His Royal Majesty King Jaja of Apobo, mentioned some of the constraints facing the institution, which include insecurity. During the speech, he vividly mentioned that the university authority had resorted to engaging some security personnel in escorting its students to the new site of the university, which is about 25 kilometers away from Dusima town, in order not to endanger their lives. And he also said the university is looking into the possibilities of providing a conducive accommodation at one of the places. This he did not clarify because we don't know if it's the new site or the old or the temporary site. They are going to provide the conducive accommodations for the students. But they, however, said they are trying to prohibit living at off campuses. He also assured that efforts are ongoing to ensure the safe release of the abducted students of the institution. This one too, he did not elaborate on it. And he kept on giving assurances that all hands are on deck to prevent the repeat of the ugly abduction of the university's students, where he commended the current effort of Governor Diko Omororada of Katsina State in reducing insecurity, and hoped that the federal government and the other states in the region will copy from what the state governor is doing. And true to what is the chancellor is saying, there has been significant reduction in bandits attacks in recent times, largely due to the introduction of the state security watchco by Governor Diko Omororada. And at least the frequency of the attacks on Katsina communities have reduced. Number of kidnappings have reduced. Occurrence of cattle rustlings have also reduced significantly. So to a large extent, one must appreciate the combined efforts and the need for continued synergy with the conventional security agencies, which is very paramount. This is exactly what happened and what is happening in Katsina.
Okay. Yamadi, just last week, I read on the news about the attacks in Maru local government area of Zamfara State. And before then, there's also the issue of abductions and kidnappings around the Federal University Gusau. Yamadi, you've been covering the Northwest for quite a while now. I want your thoughts and your assessment, basically, of what the psychology of these parents and students who reside in the Northwest region have around education and going to school, especially in this situation where we see bandits attacking this school completely, if I would say, unrestrained, with almost nothing being done until after the attacks have been carried out?
Well, there are serious apprehensions in many quarters regarding the actions and inactions of our security personnel who largely are not proactive but reactive. But nonetheless, people must ensure that they send their children to school. And of course, the notion is that efforts are being done, especially here in Katsina, where I told you that recently the governor has commissioned and dispatched these members of community security watch code to their communities to ensure that they guard their communities. So there is this apprehension, but of course, people are appreciating the current effort of the government. And what they are only saying is that what is happening in Katsina should be replicated in Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kebbi for them to have a synergy in fighting banditry until they are defeated.
Abdullah Ismail Ahmadi, thank you very much for your inputs into the news hour this evening. Do stay safe and good night.
Thank you most sincerely.
Moving on now, the Imo State Command says it has apprehended the gunmen who attacked and killed the DPO and Inspector of Police, including a civilian, at Ahiara Junction in Mbise local government area of Imo State. Trust TV's Ajibade Praise was at the Imo Police Command headquarters where the suspects were paraded, and he filed in this report.
Parading the suspects at the Imo Police Command, the Commissioner of Police, Danjuma Aboki, said investigation into the matter has started yielding results. The command, he said, has successfully arrested the key members of the gang that perpetrated the act and recovered 5 AK-47 rifles, ammunitions, and other dangerous weapons, among other exhibits. He added that several vehicles suspected to have been snatched from their owners and used for their evil act were also recovered.
Following the murder of the DPO of IHZ Mbesi and an Inspector of Police on 27th of 11/2023, and the subsequent confession of suspect arrested at the scene by the operator of synergy with the military operative of the kidnapping unit. On 29th of last month, 2020, stormed the camp of criminal syndicate at Umuohe in Ungo-Kwala local government of Imo.
In his confessional statement, the arrested suspect, who identified himself as Obi Chukwemeka, said he is a member of the deadly gang, which he joined following a 65,000 naira monthly salary he was promised.
Are you a member of the ESN or not?
Yes, I was a member. That's as of 3 months ago. They said that I should. They told me that they normally pay ESN people. I have been there 3 months. They said that they are owing us salary. 3 months. I have to travel.
Some of the victims equally narrated their ordeals in the hands of these dangerous men of the underworld.
They moved me to the Highland. Mainly I entered the Highland, and the two of them in the Highland. The fireman I took
I get out from my motor, say make I open my gate. 4 of them come jam me, say come on, get out from there, enter motor. They kidnap me, put me for the back of my car, carry me go to the inside bush, carry all my bag where I put money, carry all the whole my big phone, 2 phones and 1 small phone.
With the arrest of these ones, the CP urged all sons and daughters of the state who wish to travel home for their Christmas festival to feel free to do so without any fear.
And I would like to use this opportunity to inform all the Imolites in and out of this country that they are free to come in to celebrate their Christmas and New Year festivity
Although some of the suspects are still at large with bullet wounds sustained from the gun duel when the anti-kidnapping unit stormed their camp, the police are not relenting in their effort to get all of them arrested and made to face the law. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
Well, there you have it, Ajibade Praise in Owerri. And now to politics. The Court of Appeal in Lagos has dismissed the appeals brought before it by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the All Progressives Congress, APC, and their governorship candidates against the election of Governor Alex Oti of Abia State. In a unanimous decision on Saturday, the three-man appeal court panel upheld the victory of Oti at the polls, saying that it conformed with the provisions of the Electoral Act. The appellate court ruled that the petitions brought by the appellants lacked in merit, describing them as a comedy skit brought to a democratic setting. The court said issues of political party membership is a pre-election matter which also falls within the jurisdiction of the political party. It further said since Oti joined the Labour Party, won its primary election and submitted his name to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, he was qualified to contest. And to other news now, no fewer than 3 shops and valuables worth millions of naira were destroyed on Friday by fire at Bakin Kaswa in Hadejia local government area of Jigawa State. The spokesman of the National Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, in the state, Adamu Shehu, confirmed the incident in Duse on Saturday. Shehu said the inferno razed 3 shops, a stall and part of a mosque in the area. He explained that although the exact cause of the fire was yet to be ascertained, eyewitness, however, claimed that the fire started from a spark from an electrical pole close to one of the shops. Shehu said the fire was put out by the combined efforts of personnel of the NSCDC, fire service, and residents of the area. According to him, no casualty was recorded in the incident, but property and valuables worth millions of naira were lost. And also, the Senate building of the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, was gutted by fire on Friday. A statement issued by the Director of Public Affairs Directorate of the University, Awal Umar, said the fire started around 4:15 p.m. on Friday evening from a small room housing an electrical distribution board at the ground floor of the Senate building. The statement, however, said the cause of the fire incident could not be immediately ascertained. According to the statement, although no injuries or casualties have been recorded, the distribution board and some obsolete public address systems have been consumed by the fire. He said the timely intervention of the university firefighters and security personnel saved the situation from escalating, adding that power has since been restored to the building. The Vice-Chancellor, Kabiru Bala, who was at the scene of the incident along with some management staff and hundreds of sympathizers, commended the university firefighters and security personnel for putting out the fire. Also, an evening fire on Friday gutted a popular interior shop along Complex Road in Ekpan, Uwe local government area of Delta State, destroying shops with goods worth millions of naira. The electrical parking store section of the interior store was not affected, but parts of the interior store was razed by the fire as the building was affected. Reports say the incident occurred after BEDC restored power in the area. It was, however, gathered that the Delta State Fire Service had been reached to rescue the situation. In a short video from the scene of the incident, some of the victims were seen making frantic efforts to salvage as much as they could before the arrival of the fire service. And now, joining us via phone call to discuss the incidents of fire outbreaks in the last few days is the FCT Fire Service PRO Superintendent of Fire, Ibrahim Taurid. Welcome to the program. If you can hear me, we are suddenly facing a surge in fire incidents in the last couple of days. Perhaps you could allude or create a nexus between the change in the weather conditions to these incidents that we've been recording.
Yes, good evening, Nigeria. Good evening, listener. Yes, you've said it. The problem of the incessant fire outbreak these days is as a result of the climate change as well as a result of the weather condition. Now, during this period of Harmattan period, we are bound to have a series of fire outbreak as a result of dryness, as a result of low humidity, as a result of the wind that is also blowing. And if one is not careful, many things that are dried, many things that are volatile are bound to be caught up with fire so easily.
All right, so what are some of the specific measures that could be taken to improve fire safety in Nigeria, particularly in densely populated areas?
Actually, number one in densely populated area is to create accessibility. Whenever there is a fire outbreak, if it started so small, then fighting equipment like firefighting equipment like fire extinguishers are supposed to be very close to the place, installed, and they are supposed to be handy for them to actually nip the fire at the bud. However, what I mean by accessibility, especially in clustered areas, is because whenever firefighters are being called, they will always want to maneuver their way to get to the seat of the fire. And not getting access to the place will aggravate the situation. And I believe that people are not too conversant with that because at times they create blockages, especially in the market. And one thing that is so common is that we do have most of these common market fires at this period. There are no year, I have not seen that year that there will be no market fire during this Harmattan. So most of the problem that firefighters do have is a very seamless accessibility to the seat of fire. Now, what people are supposed to be doing is to make sure that they create access road, they do not block the road, and they do not cluster the entire place. Secondly, you need to educate your people. That is, after the installation of all these firefighting equipment, you need to get educated. You need to make sure that carelessness that has to do with too much overloaded sockets, cooking unattended to, and allowing children to play with matches, all these things are being taken care of. So that the fire that is always getting prepared to divulge, to make sure that it consumes the building, will not have a free day to consume such building.
Okay, Superintendent of Fire Ibrahim Tawhid, what would you say, or what would be your advice to improve increased access to fire servicemen by Nigerians? Because you would agree with me that sometimes it is often, maybe a few times after the damage has been done, that you begin to see firefighters arriving at the scene. So what should be the first line of calls for individuals who have seen fire incidents occurring, and how should they access fire servicemen such as yourself?
Thank you so much. I think the first thing is that once the fire starts small, you should have a first aid firefighting equipment to fight the fire. If the fire has gone big, maybe by trying to salvage the situation, you might now see that the fire has escaped your a kind of degree, a kind of level that first aid firefighting equipment can extinguish. So you now start calling the fire service. At times, such call come too late for the fire service. And whenever the fire service comes out as a result of such call, it always appears to the public that they are just coming late. And whereas nobody has called them earlier. So that is one of the factors that appear to be as if fire service are not turning out on time. People don't call fire service on time. Then when you ask people, because we have actually put them to test several times, that how do you call fire service? If you ask them if they have fire service emergency number, they don't. So fire service emergency number should be at hand, should be handy, because it is one of the ways to call fire service. Then I want to also tell the people that whenever there is a fire, whether it's a small fire or a bigger fire, before it grows, call the fire service.
Okay.
And I want to tell you that our number, which is 09-290-6118 in Abuja, that is 09-290-6118. When you call this number, we are turning out immediately.
All right.
Any fire station that is close to such fire scene. And I want also to please include that there's a national emergency number, which is 112. If you call this emergency number, you will be directed to fire service, and the fire service will turn out the nearest fire station to the fire scene.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Ibrahim Tawhid, thank you so much for your input on the news hour this evening.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, that was Ibrahim Tawhid, the FCT Fire Public Relations Officer. You're still watching the news hour on Trust TV. Now, here are some of the stories that made the headlines. Katsina Federal University abandons campus over insecurity. And also, Appeal Court upholds Alex Oti's election as Abia governor. Moving on to other stories now. Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf on Saturday flagged off the payment of 6 billion naira gratuity and death benefits to over 5,000 pensioners in the state. The official flag-off ceremony was held at the Coronation Hall of the Kano Government House. Salim Ibrahim has more on the details.
Speaking at the event, Governor Abba Kabir assured of the commitment of his administration in settling all backlog of gratuities to pensioners, as well as enhancing the welfare of civil servants in the state. He said his administration inherited a huge liability of pension gratuities of retirees, adding that many of retirees have passed away without receiving their entitlements.
At this juncture, it is pertinent to note that the present administration inherits huge amounts as unpaid gratuities, death benefits, and of course pension areas that accrued and lingered from June 2008 to date for over 75 billion, out of which 43 billion is for the death benefits and gratuities of states and local governments.
The governor noted that the payment will continue, stressing that the backlog of over 48 billion naira pension and gratuities will be settled in the nearest future. He urged beneficiaries to make judicious utilization of the benefits for a brighter future. Also speaking, the national president, Nigeria Union of Pensioners, Godwin Abumisi, represented by the national trustee, Abdullahi Zoho Garba, said the settlement of unpaid gratuities and death benefits at a time when his other colleagues are grappling with take-up issues speaks volume of the governor's capacity to, like never before, provide dividends of democracy to the people of Kano State.
Your Excellency, permit me to use this occasion to remind both federal and state governments of the pains, frustrations, and hardship Nigerians, including pensioners, are currently facing as a result of subsidy removal. In the light of this, we wish to use this occasion to passionately appeal to both governments to do something very fast to assuage the pains of our members and other vulnerable Nigerians.
In their separate remarks, the Deputy Governor Aminu Gwarzo and former Deputy Governor Hafiz Abubakar urged the pensioners not to allow what they called illegal deductions of benefits by the previous administration to go free.
This 5.4 billion illegal deduction has not been remitted to Kano Treasury. They are in Abuja. The illegal deductions of 5.4 billion are with individuals in Abuja. So I am advocating the first step is for the Nigerian Union of Pensioners of Kano State to document and deliver their complaint to the EFCC to look for their 5.4 billion.
They therefore call on them to report such case to the anti-corruption agencies available. Salim Umar Ibrahim, reporting for Trust TV News.
Also, religious leaders in the country have been cautioned against using places of worship to preach disunity amongst their followers. The chairman, Kaduna Peace Commission, Reverend Idowu Ferron, stated this in an interactive session with journalists in Kaduna. Take a look.
Kaduna State has been witnessing religious, ethnic, and politically motivated crises for a long time. This, according to the chairman, Kaduna Peace Commission, Reverend Idowu Ferron, is fueled by some religious leaders through their utterances.
I'm speaking as a religious leader. We have been covered for too long, and some of us have seized this as an opportunity to tell our congregants whatever it is. So our religious leaders, it's about time we begin to call them to account. This thing you are talking about, is this what the Quran says? Is this what the Bible tells us about this thing?
Although the state now is enjoying relative peace, save for banditry that is still bedeviling it, the commission, however, enjoins citizens to maintain the tempo in the state by respecting other faiths.
Your neighbor, if you don't know his or her religious profession, there is no way you can live together. Because what I believe is informed by my religion. So if you want to know me, you need to know a bit about my religion. I know some of us who promote that, the other call you, you are no longer a Muslim, you are Chrislam. You are no longer a Christian, you are a Muslim or whatever they call it. It's not fair. It is about time we began to expose our religious leaders who are using religion to create division.
The meeting is to engage journalists on using investigating journalism to promote peace in Kaduna State and beyond. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Workers in Singa Market of Kano State are calling on traders to increase their loading and unloading fee given the current economic situation in the country. Earlier reports indicated that laborers in the market are being paid less than expected. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin, who went round the market, reports that a carton of noodles is loaded or unloaded at the cost of 10 naira. Here's his report.
Inside Singa Market, hundreds of youth from different parts of Kano State and beyond engaged in different kind of job, from loading and offloading of different kind of goods. Over the years, however, there seems to be no fixed rate for what these youths do in the market. According to them, they are being paid between 7 and 10 naira per carton and between 20 and 30 naira per bag of 50 kg of rice, flour or sugar. We are talking about the issue of our increment. Before, they are paying us 10 naira. They have now increased it from 10 naira to 20 naira. And from 20 naira to 40 naira. So some are paying that 40 naira. Some are still not paying the 40 naira. Before now, they are paying us 7 naira. Later, they have increased it from 7 naira to 20 naira up to 40 naira. But some are paying that amount. Some are still not paying that amount. But what we are saying here as laborers, we want to call on all traders to ensure that look at what is happening. The price of goods and services have increased. So they should also increase our rate so that we don't need to come and protest to them, or we don't need to go anywhere complaining about how they are paying us. According to the chairman of the laborers, there is no standard price for loading and offloading goods in the market. He said some traders pay more than others, depending the nature of the goods. Honestly, there is no standard rate of what they are paying us laborers in this market. But now, thank God, we have a Singa Market Development Association, which is trying to come up with a fixed price. And as I am talking to you now, this market union is trying to bring together all laborers in the market so that we can have a fixed price. But unfortunately, I must tell you that we don't have fixed price as to how they are paying our laborers in this market. Meanwhile, the market leadership argued that some goods are not heavy enough to be paid the same as the others. But the market authority is discussing with the leadership of laborers in order to come up with a fixed amount.
Mu kasuwar Singa muna da tsari, amma tsarin ba uniform yake tafiya da ko ina ba. Kowane rumfa da irin tsarin su.
Honestly, we in Singa Market, we have structure, only that it is not uniform, because we have different shops, we have different dealers, we have different traders. The way this trader will pay his laborers will be different from the way the next trader will pay his laborers. But what we are trying to do here as market leaders is to bring together all those major leaders and traders so that we can see how we can come up with fixed price, so that these laborers that are working for us here, we would have a fixed amount of whatever they are loading or offloading to make sure that we are paying them uniformly. Right now, we are in the process of doing that, and in the next coming days, I am assuring you that we will come up with this fixed amount for our laborers in this Singa market. Although these laborers are responsible for whatever goods come to the market, but their payment has remained a major source of concern for several years now. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has lifted the suspension placed on the Part G operation specifications of United Nigeria Airlines. This is coming following the suspension of the Part G operation specifications of the United Nigeria Airlines by the NCAA after one of its aircraft landed passengers at the Asaba International Airport on Sunday, rather than their destination, the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport in Abuja. However, in a statement dated December 1, 2023, the NCAA said its investigation into the unfortunate incident revealed lack of adequate liaison between the leaser's OCC and the lessee's OCC, which omitted appropriate flight briefing from the point of departure. The agency noted that the investigation also revealed that cockpit crew and the cabin crew did not hold pre-flight briefing before embarking on the flight, adding that the OCC flight monitoring of the United Airlines does not monitor the aircraft in the company's wet lease aircraft, as well as non-adherence to approved flight ATC plan. Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafo for more on business news.
The Central Bank of Nigeria says it will freeze accounts without bank verification numbers, BVN, or national identification numbers, NIN, from April 2024. This is according to a Friday circular by the Apex Bank, which instructed banks to place a post-note debit restriction which prevents customers from making withdrawals, transfers, or any other debits for all existing Tier 1 accounts or wallets without BVN or NIN. The circular by the CBN Director of Payments System Management Department, Chibuzo Efeobi, and the Director of Financial Policy and Regulation Department, Haruna Mustafa, said all BVNs or NINs attached to accounts and wallets must be electronically revalidated by January 31st, 2024. The CBN said the move is part of its efforts to promote financial system stability and strengthening of the Know Your Customer KYC procedures in financial institutions. It added that in cases where a potential customer does not have a BVN or NIN, the CBN advised the regulated financial institution to commence the process of enrolling the individual onto the BVN database and be guided by the extant protocols issued by NIBSS. Nigeria and Germany on Friday signed the Presidential Power Initiative Agreement to improve electricity supply in Africa's most populous nation. The Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, who disclosed this in a statement, said the signing was presided over by President Bola Tinubu and the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, while the Managing Director of Nigeria's power company, Kenny Anyway, signed on Nigeria's behalf, the Managing Director, Africa, Siemens AG, Najda Hakanson, signed for Germany. Speaking after the signing ceremony in Dubai, Anyway highlighted Siemens Energy's effective delivery of crucial equipment worth over 63 million euros to the country since the project commenced. According to Ngelale, the agreement will see to the end-to-end modernization and expansion of Nigeria's electric power transmission grid with a full supply, delivery and installation of Siemens manufactured equipment within 18 to 24 months. He emphasized that the agreement will ensure project sustainability and maintenance with full technology transfer and training for Nigerian engineers at the Transmission Company of Nigeria. And finally, the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company PLC EEDC has disclosed that it will shut down power in Anambra State for 4 days. A statement issued by the head corporate communications EEDC Emeka Eze on Saturday said the planned outage will take place from 2nd to 6th December 2023. According to Eze, the outage is to enable the Transmission Company of Nigeria TCN engineers to carry out maintenance on their facility. He said the affected areas include the whole of Atani, Bida, Main Market, Iweka, Fege, and its adjoining estates, as well as all heavy industrial clusters within Obaru. According to him, the areas will be out of supply for the period of the outage. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
Thank you for business, Chiamaka. And on the foreign scene, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has condemned the latest outbreak of fighting in Guinea-Bissau, where the situation had returned to calm on Saturday. Clashes between members of the National Guard and Special Forces of the Presidential Guard broke out Thursday night in the capital, Bissau, leaving 2 dead. In a statement, ECOWAS further called for arrest and prosecution of the perpetrators of the incidents in accordance with the law. Let's now join Adeniyi Ajishafe for sports news.
Phoenix Suns' Kevin Durant moved 10th on the NBA all-time scoring list despite his team Phoenix Suns loss to Denver Nuggets. Durant needed 17 points to move past Moses Malone, scoring 30 points to give him career points of 27,423 in a game where his team lost 119 to 111 with Nikola Jokic scoring 21 points and having 16 assists for Denver's. Elsewhere, Orlando Magic beat Washington Wizards 130 to 125 to equal a franchise record of 9 straight wins. German forward Franz Wagner scored 31 points as Paulo Bacchero added 28 points for Orlando. Dallas Mavericks mixed Luka Doncic following the birth of his daughter, losing 108 to 94 at home to Memphis Grizzlies. Philadelphia 76ers lost 119 to 125 against Boston Celtics without NBA most valuable player Joel Embiid. Jason Tatum was ejected in the third quarter for a second technical foul, while New York Knicks beat Toronto Raptors 190 to 106 as San Antonio Spurs suffered 14th consecutive defeat, going down 121 to 106 to New Orleans Pelicans. And in football, Arsenal had an early lead through Bukayo Saka, who got the better of Craig Dawson in the penalty area to fire into bottom corner with their first goal in an encounter against visiting Wolverhampton Wanderers. Martin Odegaard scored involving Alexander Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus to double Gunners' advantage. Both got better in the second half when Matthias Cunha put David Raya to test with a powerful effort near post before calling a drive into the top corner to give Wolves hope with 5 minutes left in the game, of which Gary O'Neill's side were unable to complete the fight back. Arsenal are 4 points clear at the top of Premier League table with a victory. That's Sport News. I'm Adeniyi Ajishafe.
With that, we've come to the end of the news hour on Trust TV tonight. Do well to follow us across all of our social platforms and also follow our YouTube live stream for more news, documentaries and programs. I'm Sakir Ibrahim saying good night and have a lovely night.
Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.